Welcome back to Paper Heart Scissors, and it is almost Valentine's Day, and I got the Simon Says Stamp February kit, and we are going to make a tag for the Tag of Month promotion, and we're going to make a kind of masculine one. I actually wanted to do something different than what I had seen in the examples and use that cute little bean paper and do a card that can also be a tag for my sweetie. He is a coffee lover as well, and I didn't actually know what I was going to use. I'm just showing you some of the things that came in the kit that I thought were really sweet. Those little coffee beans, I knew I wanted to use those. I didn't know if I was going to use a paper clip or not. We're going to use a little distress ink, and a couple of Simon Says Stamp inks, the dark chocolate, maybe the cobblestone, and I'll show you what I might up my sleeve with the distress ink. Then I just had some ribbon in my stash for the top of the tag. So in order to make this a tag that's a card, I'm going to actually just draw the tag on some Nina Desert Storm, and then I'm going to line it up and I'm going to draw its companion next to it. And then you have two choices here. And one is that you could literally cut this out and fold it in half, or you could create a top folding hinge like I'm going to show you how I did. And I just took the excess piece of paper and I kind of cut around how I wanted that to work on the top, and then I cut it out and I put some tape on it and I glued each side to it, and then you have this hinge. Now it is a good idea to punch your hole at this point before you start adding all of this stuff, and that you punch a hole through your banners. I forgot, and I actually had to cut the hole out at the end. So, and I'll show you how I dealt with that. So I'm going to take some of the dark chocolate Simon Says Stamp ink, and I'm going to take that cute to-go cup, looks just like my latte cup in the morning, and stamp a couple of those. And I actually did stamp the tops too. I thought that maybe I was going to fussy cut out the tops as well. But I didn't end up using that. I ended up coloring them instead. It just seemed like too much. And then I know that some people got some of this corduroy cardboard, corrugated cardboard in their kit. I did not, but I had this piece lying around, but I wanted it to match and feel brown and chocolatey and look more like the craft. So I took a little bit of the antique photo and brushed corduroy distress ink and literally just rubbed it on top and used a water brush to kind of have that sink in. And then I wanted it to be even darker, and I had this distress, so I'm going to do one more layer, but then I also had this distress copper mica spray. And you can see that it's starting now to get really grungy and kind of shaded, and I like that. But I'm going to take that mica spray and I'm actually going to spray that copper spray on top of this, and then use my heat tool to dry it. And I kind of rolled it to get it to go down inside the paper. So I used a heat tool to heat it, and then I stamped the cups on the back again, and I just fussy cut those little holders that protect your hands from the heat out of that colored corduroy. I don't know what you call that. Corrugated. It's corrugated. And they really looked perfect. They were shiny and had just enough kind of a metallic glitz to be interesting. I'll save those for something else. I thought you could make hearts out of them too. It would be kind of fun, and they'd still be masculine enough to give this card to a guy, not have the pink and blue thing on his desk. I'm going to tie this onto a latte and drop it off at work. And so then I fussy cut the two cards out, really simple and easy to do, not too hard to do these by hand, and they are really sweet. So there I'm putting all the elements kind of together, and I'm going to put the sentiment. I only need two things, You and Coffee on the on some vellum, and I'm going to white heat emboss, and I'm just kind of marking the location of where I want that to be, and whether it's going to, and then it's going to, after I assemble the banners, it's going to wrap around the two banners. I'm going to take that away and trim that out. And I really wanted all of those things to kind of pop off the background some more. So I'm going to give the back of that tag, or the front, some texture by using some Hero Arts Unicorn White pigment ink and stamping some of the coffee cups on the background, so those will appear underneath the banners and really kind of make them pop off. And that just adds a little more texture and a little more dimension, so that when you lay those things on there, it really has a more finished look. So now I'm feeling happier with that. I have a bunch of sizes and scales going on, and I took and I scored that little piece of vellum so that I knew it would fit perfectly on the two banners once I had mounted them together. And I'm just kind of getting a sense of where, say I made those two little lids, and I'm not going to use those actually. Just getting a sense of where everything is going to go. And that actually goes on top, not on the bottom. I figured that out. I stamped them. I always stamp them how I want them over on the side and see. And I was, for some reason, I thought that little line, I need just two things, went on the bottom, and then it doesn't. I turned it around, and you'll see me fix that. So I'm going to attach the pattern paper banner to the craft, and that's not going to have any dimension because the larger banner is going to have some dimension to it. So I did add foam tape to the back of that banner, and I should have punched my hole out at this time as well. And you could have done that, I could have done that really easily by simply putting the hole that I had punched in the tag, if I had done that, on top of the banner and just punching right through that as well. So I got a little too far, and I had to do a little bit of surgery on my card. So now I'm stamping that the curvy sentiment together in the white pigment ink, and I'm just using my T ruler to make sure that I have this roughly straight and where it's going to go. And it actually worked out really well. But and I did use Hero Arts super fine embossing powder, and I will tell you that once again, please don't forget to use your embossing buddy, because I forgot, and this is where I realized that goes on top, not on bottom. And I stamped it off the side. I'm like, oh yeah, okay. So I will get that right in just a minute, and then I actually will trim off a little bit of the sentiment from of the vellum from below the sentiment, so that works, because it's a little too much space there on the bottom now. So I'm going to take some Simon Says Stamp super fine white embossing powder, and I'm sorry that this is slightly off camera, but you can see this is really, really fine, and I really should have been much more stringent with my powder tool. And you can use an embossing bag or an embossing buddy or the EK Success one. They all work fine as long as you do it. So I forgot, so that's okay. It worked out fine anyway, and I'm gonna just hide that adhesive behind the banner, so it just wraps around there perfectly. And then I'm going to add some foam tape to the back. You could even, if you wanted to, you wouldn't even have to put adhesive on the vellum. You could just simply add the adhesive over the edges of that banner, but I was moving really fast. I've been making a lot of Valentines, and I did post some other Valentines on Instagram for people to look at it on Flickr as well. But I haven't written a blog post or that for Valentine's this year. I was doing mashup Valentines where I was using a lot of products from a lot of companies, which is really fun, but it makes it hard to do a video that kind of that's cohesive. Not a ton of products. So I'm going to dimensionalize the little cups with a little bit of foam, and then I am going to just simply glue on the little corrugated cup holders. And then I'm going to put the hearts on top of that and finish embellishing. And so I'm going to see me cut this up. And I mean, I was trying to decide if I wanted to do another lid or not. And I didn't. I actually just went the direction of giving the lids some dimension with a Copic marker by adding some shadows. And you'll see that in just a minute. So I'm going to attach those little pieces of corrugated. And it's really nice because we have a lot of the same tones, but really nice dimension and different textures. So I think this is successful from that standpoint. I was really liking that. And I did end up adding glossy accents to those cards after the end, and I don't show you that, but you can see it in the photos. So that was the last minute after I had finished with the video, and then I was like, oh, you know what, it needs just a little something else to match those little coffee beans, which are so cute. So this kind of shows you, I'm like, oh, I didn't punch the hole there. So I actually traced the hole, and then I used a craft knife to cut a hole in it, and then I covered up my raw ugly gashy hole with a custom reinforcement. So I'm using a Copic marker here to add shadows in the depths and in the areas where the lid and the cup would be recessed. So below the lid, where those indentations are, and then I also put some underneath the lid and underneath the cup holder. And so now I've got that kind of rough hole, and I'm going to fix that. And I'm going to fix it by taking that dark chocolate ink and making a piece of custom paper. And I just die cut a nice little tag reinforcement there. It was in one of the, I think that's from the My Favorite Things tag kit from pre-Christmas. There was a lot of really nice little tag pieces in there. So now you can see I can write a beautiful message in there. The tag will actually stand up. I'm going to add another bow to this. I just think that the color combination of all these things is really perfect. That ribbon is kind of coppery like the mica that's on the corrugated on the cups. So I feel pretty good about everything and how it came together today, and I hope you enjoyed this. And you can find me at paperheartscissors.com or on Instagram at paperheart22. And there are 3 other projects there, and please go to my blog and visit and upload a tag. I'm doing a tag every month for you. You can watch January's tag video now, and I hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.